Hey, we're at Hubba Sathon, which is Hubba Thailand's newest branch, opened almost a year ago. We're here today for Lost Boat Weekend, which is a weekend where we have a number of speakers who come and kind of talk about, share their experience. These speakers are people from our community. They might be members. They might be people who've come across our path. They might be, even Hubba staff. So today we're here with Mars, who just had a talk about brand investment and why you're fucked without it. Can I say that? We're online, right? Anyway, so Mars, thank you so much for coming today. We really appreciate you sharing your knowledge. Mars actually came from Hubba's. Was a member at Hubba. Spent some time with us and really has taken advantage of that relationship. So,
Shamelessly.
so tell us a little bit more about your talk today and what your deal is.
So I think two things I was really passionate about to talk here and today is that one, like you said, we started 3 years ago at Hubba, where actually most of the people that are in our network now that we work with were also at Hubba at the same time. And so the whole idea of strengthening each other's message and doing something together was actually pulled off. A lot of people, I was like, oh, co-working space, la la la, but it actually was co-working and making us all successful together. So, that's to be nice to you. I think what we try to talk about today is to convince people that just started a business or that they have a really good idea and they're considering to make it into a business, that branding is one of the most crucial points in taking the next step, in actually taking that idea or taking that business and getting it onto the next plateau or onto the next level. A lot of people postpone their branding, it's not important now, it's very expensive, I can't afford it now, and we try to say well, it is important. When you go and collect money, when you go and raise money to make your dreams come true, make branding part of that initial capital raise. I think that was one part. I think the other part, I'm really excited to do it in Thailand, is because, I'm going to nerd out a little bit, but Thailand being one of the few countries, or maybe the only country that's never been occupied, it has one of the purest forms of cultural heritage out there. And yet, whenever I talk to other creatives and ask them, okay, what do you think the Thai form language is, nobody can answer me properly. And so we're passionate to work with Thai startups that are proud to be Thai and that represent Thainess. I had a brand interview this morning with somebody who was really willing to embrace it, and they had some really good wording to it. And that really warms my heart, because there's endless inspiration in the Thai cultural heritage that they can use. I just wanted to translate it into something that's ready for the future. And I hope I get to be part of that with some of these people that were in the audience today.
Wow, that's really inspiring. Do you feel like startups in Thailand are kind of going in the right direction? Do you feel like they are kind of starting to get the message about why branding is important?
I think it's probably they get it better here than in other parts of the world that I've seen. I think that also just because they care about how, maybe it's the times, but I don't know enough about the culture, but maybe it's the thing people care about how they're being represented and how people see them, but on a very matter-of-fact level. And so I think they know it's important, and they're like, oh, yeah, we have some good ideas. Before we do any branding, we always try to establish the values of a company first. And it's surprisingly easy to do that with Thai companies or with Thai people, because they're very eloquent when it comes to their wording, and they have a very good idea of who they are, who they want to be, and how they're being perceived by the market. So I think Thai startups especially are good at that first piece. They're very good at building the base, and then in combination with the work we do, they're very appreciative of seeing that immediate extension of who they want to be.
So do you have any recommendations for someone who's just starting out? First thing, what can they do maybe they don't, like, as we find startups, they don't necessarily have the money to invest right away. Do you have any recommendations of something a startup can do just right, to start this branding process?
Well, like I said, I think branding should be part of the very first thing you do to establish your company. And so we've worked with companies in the past, like, okay, we have this idea. We know for application design, for example, it's crucial to have branding and to have like a working prototype of your app in place. So we know this is important. We don't really want to ask you to do it for free, but could you commit to helping us build a pitch that we can then go to potential investors with? And I think that's a really good, it's good advice to people who wanna create a company. Or say, okay, we have this really good idea. All we need to do is convince a creative agency that this is a valid idea that is worth money, and then that agency will hopefully help us create a pitch, go out to meet with investors, and like help us tell our story. Because again, that's essentially what designers do. They tell, or they help people and companies tell their story.
So I was sitting in on the talk, so I have a little bit of background knowledge here. But to kind of fill everyone in, you had mentioned how oftentimes branding is simply considered to be design, is simply considered to be the logo or the colors chosen, maybe the different kind of vector styles. Do you, yeah, I don't know. These are words I picked up. Do you have any kind of, would you like to elaborate on that a little bit about, what branding means to you?
I think tying onto like the stories, I think all that branding is in one sentence is it's a story. So it's a way of communicating what you stand for and how you want to be perceived out to not just your customers, but the entire world. And that's why branding is not just a logo, it's not just design, it's actually looking into like who you are, who your company is, and turning that into a story or values or personality or however you want to call it that resonates with people. Because often we get requests for like, hey, we want a logo and a website, but people don't really know what they want, and they also don't know who they are. Like that creating the values and creating the personality for a brand is the first 4 or 5 weeks of any project. And it's like psychology. Like we bring a psychologist to these meetings and talk to people and be like, okay, you think you are this, you think you want to be this, you think you're being perceived like this, but actually that's not true, because you can't take enough distance from yourself or from your company to actually come up with these words. And I think that's what we're most passionate at, is like actually finding out who people are and then coming up with a way to communicate that properly.
So if I can sum it up, it's essentially condensing the values, the vibe, the everything about a company, and then showing it into, a beautiful design. And
yeah, it's capturing the essence and then distilling that essence into like actual visual materials. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. We have, run out of time here, but we are here at Last Boat Weekend. Today is the second day. We'll have the third day tomorrow. And, thank you so much for being part of this. And if you are a lost boat as well, you can come, and we'll hope here at Hubba we can be your compass. So thank you so much.